Hey, comment ça va, Christophe Landry? Today we're going to actually talk about accentuation in Creole, Louisiana Creole. And actually, it's not all that simple. Louisiana Creole is actually phonetic. So what you see, you pronounce every single letter, every single consonant and vowel. The thing though is that lots of people who do not use accents in their languages feel a bit turned off, more so by prejudice than anything else, by the accents that we use in Louisiana Creole. And there are 5 of them in Louisiana Creole. So we'll go over the 5 accents and the 3 accent classes in Louisiana Creole, because they don't all serve the same purpose. So since there's so many of them, I'm just going to jump right on in. The 5 accents are the aigu, which opens the sound of a vowel, the grave, which softens the sound of a vowel, the circonflexe, which actually has 2 functions in Louisiana Creole. It can either mark the word as being a different form of a homonym, a word that sounds the exact same, and is spelled the exact same also, but has a different meaning, or it can mean that the letter on which the circumflex falls was followed by a different consonant at some point in time that vanished over history. So it serves those 2 functions, the circumflex. The CD only appears as CCD, which makes the exact same sound as an S. And then finally there's the tréma. The tréma is used, it's those 2 dots that appear over the second vowel, and it's actually used to distinguish between 2 vowel sounds. And the reason why we use that is because sometimes in Louisiana Creole, actually a lot of times in Louisiana Creole, that tréma is used on words that come from Latin languages, but that in other Latin languages wouldn't be differentiated between the 2 vowel sounds. They will appear, like in French, as a diphthong, making 1 sound instead of 2 distinct sounds. So the tréma is actually used in French as well. And then finally we have the 3 accent classes. And I've broken them up into 3 different accent classes because I think it'll be easier for you to understand the functions of them through these classes and the accentuation. So the first class is actually the stress class. Oftentimes in Louisiana Creole, the stress in a word will fall on the final syllable if it ends in a vowel. But not always, not always. So on the A, for example, the vowel A, when we use the aigu over the A at the end of a word or at some point in the word, it's marking the stress. So here we have an example, rosa, rosa. Well, normally if someone sees it and they don't know what the function of the aigu is, they'd say rosa, rosa. But actually it's rosa, rosa. The next example is sal, sal. Instead of sala or sala, it's sal. The third example is lal. Instead of la or la, it's lal. We also use it on the I sometimes, which is pronounced E in Louisiana Creole. So the example here is pays. Pays. So again, the stress is on that final syllable, pays. And then the last vowel that we use it on, in this case, and these are all aigus, right? And the last vowel we use it on is the O. And if the O is at the end of a word, like the other examples, then the final stress is on that O. So lilo, lilo, not lilo or lilo, but lilo, lilo. That's pretty simple, I think. The next class is the present tense indicator. I'm sorry, the past tense indicator on conjugated verbs. Sometimes in Louisiana Creole, to mark the past tense, we, instead of using the tense marker te, we'll use the infinitive of the verb, and so the listener has to be paying attention to the conversation to pick out buzzwords, context clues for the tense of the verb if the infinitive is used. So to mark that in writing, we'll use the aigu over the final vowel in the infinitive. So parti, which means to leave or depart, normally it'd just be parti. And if we said li parti hier, well, li parti hier, you know that it's past tense from the indicator hier, which means yesterday. But you don't know any more clues about it other than that. I mean, that's pretty self-sufficient. But if you saw it in writing, this aigu over the final I in parti would be your definite clue that this is a past tense conjugation. Manger, same thing. J'ai mangé tous les haricots là. J'ai mangé tous les haricots là. They ate all of their green beans there. They've eaten all of their green beans. So again, it's used to clue you that this is definitely past tense sentence. And then the final class is just the sound modifiers. And some of those modifiers we've gone over in the very beginning of the tutorial. But I'll just go ahead and show you through each of the vowels how it changes the sound from the vowel itself without the diacritic, without the accent. So the first example are the E's. And the first one without the accent on it is the next one is a, and then the final one with the grave is e. So it's e. Totally different sounds. In the I's, it's E and I. E and I. In the O's, it's O and A. O, A. And then the last examples I have are the trema, how it separates the two vowel sounds. Ai, ao, and oi. Ai, ao, oi. Otherwise, it would be a, o, and wa. So that's it on the accentuation. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or post a question below. And definitely check us out on Facebook. We have a very vibrant Louisiana Creole practice group on Facebook. I'll put the URL for it down below. And we look forward to having you in our community. Merci et puis wapita.